There was a time when you couldn't get to the water's edge of Hamilton Harbor, not unless you worked for a port industry or belonged to a yacht club. In the 1980s, just 2% of the shoreline was open to public access. Times have changed since then. That number is over 30%. So today is a great day to take a quick tour around the harbor to check out the spots where there is public access to the water. At Hamilton Harbor, the city's greatest natural resource, born of an ice age 12,000 years ago. This is Bayfront Park, and it started as a landfill decades ago. A couple of guys named Lax brought fill from the construction of the Claremont Access and filled in the water lots they owned here. So it was a landfill then, and in 1996 it opened as a park, and it's really served as a catalyst towards public recreational access to the harbor over the years ever since then. It's a huge park and a great spot to take a walk or read a book and even take out your boat. Just a few minutes walk east of Bayfront Park, you hit Pier 4 Park, that used to be years ago home to industry, storage sheds, that sort of thing, but which now has the iconic tugboat that was salvaged years ago by McKeel Marine, and the splash pad. And you can come down here, go for a walk, have a picnic lunch, perhaps even work on your 5-step drop in football. There's a trolley you can take from Pier 4 around the bend further along east, or you can simply walk here to Pier 7 and the boardwalk where visitors can tie up their boats if they're visiting from out-of-town marinas, and you can check out the boats and walk along the docks before grabbing a coffee at the coffee house. Just past the coffee shop, there's lots of other sights to see in addition to the boats and the water itself. Pretty striking art installation. And then also usually docked is the Hamilton Harbor Queen, which provides tours of the harbor. It's a striking way to see the harbor. Just further around the point from the Harbor Queen, you come to Pier 8. Now this is the site, Pier 8, where the Discovery Center has been and the old Sarcoa restaurant. And Pier 8 is where the new big residential development is going to be taking place. 1,300 people living down here, not just having access to the water, but living on the water. And there'll still be a boardwalk that's supposed to come all the way through here and park that will allow the public to access all the water in addition to these residents who are living here on Pier 8. We're not quite finished with the West Harbor yet. Just a few minutes walk from Pier 8 is the HMCS Haida, the naval destroyer that saw action in the Second World War and the Korean War. Now this is set back from the water a little bit, and we're hard against Burlington Street East, but some consider this spot to be the boundary between the publicly accessible West Harbor and the industrial East Harbor, and that's the Collective Arts Brewery. And you find there's colorful murals they have painted on the walls of the brewery here. That used to be the Lakeport Brewery years ago, and inside they have a tap room that's quite popular in summertime. And this is sort of the last spot before we get back in our car and head east along Burlington Street East, further to our next stop along Eastport Drive. After about a 10-minute drive along Burlington Street East and onto Eastport Drive, public access to the harbor continues just for a little bit here in this little oasis, if you will, called Windermere Park. You take a hard left off of Eastport Drive, and this is where you are. It's what used to be known as Windermere Basin. It's Windermere Park. It's teeming, sort of incongruously, given the industrial setting, with birds and flowers and other wildlife. And it's really a place to get away from it all. A few people, I would venture, come here, but it's a pretty cool spot when you get right down to it. And you might think this is the last spot for public access in our harbor tour, but we have one more to go. Our final stop for public access tour of the harbor is here, at a place called Fisherman's Pier. And it's a little rough around the edges, but it's totally public, and the Port Authority is trying to turn it into more of a people place, have some summer pop-up events, that kind of thing. When you come down to the pier, you can fish, you can put in your boat here, you can get bait for fishing at this bait shop that seems a relic from another era. They filmed some movies there and so on. Or you can just walk the pier and reflect upon the canal that was built here to allow ships to pass through more than 200 years ago through this oversized sandbar that is the beach strip, which is what created the harbor during the last ice age and turned this body of water into a protected harbor that created Hamilton essentially as we came to know it. And you can reflect upon that in your drive on your way home, or perhaps just kick back and think of the while on the water. TheSpec.com, I'm John Wells.